Here, or we will follow the path of this government. To be a messianic dictatorship, racist, fascist, homophobic, misogynistic, backwards, corrupt, and most importantly, a pariah. Sometimes adults just take it all in. Not everything deserves a reaction, chatter. Not everything deserves a reaction. Sometimes it's okay to just fucking sit there and not chirp back and just listen. Maybe you'll learn a few things. Holy, that is so crazy. Yeah, there's also some new weapon that people are using apparently, but after speaking with first responders and doctors in North Gaza, many are reporting that Israeli forces are using new weapons that cause bodies to evaporate on the scene. They describe it as something they've never seen before. There was one video of something that I saw that was like, I don't even know what this is, but I saw one video of like a person whose upper body was just like straight up on fire. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Also, the video of the dude being impaled with a smoke bomb. Yeah. Oh yeah, the smoke grenade or the smoke bomb that I saw. I don't know how the fuck this like smoke was seen bursting from the head of a Palestinian victim of an Israeli attack in Beit Laiha in northern Gaza today. Witnesses likened it to the release of steam from a pressured engine. It is like they're dumping. I can't show you the video obviously, but I believe it's experimental technology, or at least that's what doctors are saying. Like Dr. Munir al-Bursh, Director General of the Ministry of Health in Gaza, which gave reports to Al Jazeera. Israel's testing new weapons on us that we do not recognize. They drop bombs with terrifying sounds, and when a person gets within 200, 300 meters of them, they vaporize. The massacres happening in North Gaza are unknown to us until later. Nobody calls to inform us. The Israeli army bombs entire residential blocks, wiping out all their inhabitants, and we only find out about them a day or two later. And one of the videos that has come out of that is like it looks like, it basically looks like a smoke grenade that decapitated a Palestinian Palestinian person, but it literally just, they try to neutralize it. They try to like dump buckets of dirt on it. Okay. And it literally doesn't stop. It gets like crazier and crazier. Just like the smoke gets wilder and wilder. And I have no idea what the fuck it is. I've never seen anything like it. International and local doctors operating in North Gaza hospitals have found cube-like structures which are made of tungsten and built into weapons designed to explode and cause maximum damage to the victims. I'm not like a weapons expert. I have no idea what any of this shit is. I just resort to people on the ground that say this is new. And of course, during the horrors that they are experiencing, they do have the capacity to get things wrong. And we might not know until later down the line. But here's Element Technologies expanding into tungsten fragmentation production capabilities all the way back in 2022. For those of you who don't know, tungsten is incredibly dense. Dr. Mohammed Al-Mughir, the head of the Department of Supplies of the Gaza Civil Defense, said Israel is using weapons that vaporize bodies and erase any trace of their existence. To understand these weapons used by the Israeli occupation, when they shell a house, there are instances of one bodies between 2 to 5 bodies. Those are bodies we can't reach. Those bodies vaporize and are directly consumed by the airstrike or explosion. The thermobaric weapon, I don't know if this is the right one.
It forms an aerosol known as vacuum bombs. They work in 2 steps. A charge contained in a warhead explodes. Made of gas, liquid, or finely pulverized explosives, it forms an aerosol cloud. A second explosive charge ignites that cloud, which creates a fireball reaching a temperature of 3,000 degrees. The impact also creates a huge shockwave. Oxygen in the surrounding air is sucked in, generating a vacuum and a huge overpressure 1.5 to 2 times.
Yeah. This is this. Israel uses missiles in Gaza designed to explode and spread metal cubes that pierce blood vessels and nerves, causing death or paralysis. It's not impossible for this to be a part of Sharif. This is designed like this, so it can cut through and destroy. Doctors operating in Gaza said they found this metal cube inside of a Palestinian patient. Dr. Mohammed Tahir is a UK doctor volunteering to save Palestinians in Gaza.
The last case we just did was a young man who was the subject of an explosive injury. He had penetrating trauma to his chest and he had a paralyzed right arm. I suspected that he had a brachial plexus injury, but actually I was quite shocked when I found that a single cube-like structure had...
No, thermobarics rip bodies out of the house. They're designed to suck the air out of buildings. These are tungsten shrapnel shells, basically a super expensive next-gen pineapple grenade.
Penetrated the skin, cut through what we call the upper trunk, and then also the lower trunk, and then lodged itself in the skin of his back. And this has left him with paralysis in his right arm, which probably will be permanent because of the nature of the condition, despite our best efforts. So these cubes that are used are perfectly formed cubes. They're made of tungsten, and they are built into weapons that actually are designed to explode and cause maximum damage indiscriminately. And so something so very small can in fact kill you, because in his case it was millimeters from his main artery. And if he was in Jabalia, if he was in the street in the middle of the night, if he was at home and no access to an ambulance, he would have died. And we know that this is the case for many people, and many reports of the use of these weapons and that they are still used today is a war crime in my opinion.
The cubes are just millimeters in size, but can spread out over 20 meters, shredding metal and human flesh. This is what I mean when I say it's a laboratory for like all of the newest weapons technology. Like Unit 731 shit against the captive audience. Where they're just like, you know how like Unit 731 was testing, you know, the limits of frostbite or what happens when you sew two twins together or some shit. This is, once you make this technology, you gotta fucking live test it. I don't know, man. I'm like anti-Israel, but this is some sci-fi shit. What does that even mean? Is this the anti-Semitism I've been promised? Yes. Yeah, they leave minimal entry wounds, but they cause massive organ damage. Doctors say fragmentation weapons pierce blood vessels, nerves, and are a major cause of amputations. Which amputations that have to be done without anesthetics, by the way, because Israel refuses to let in anesthetics, crutches, dates inside Israel's ghost list of items arbitrarily denied entry into Gaza. Israel bans the importation into Gaza of anesthetics. Hence, the scores of children who are amputated daily following Israel's bombings are put to the knife without anesthesia, if they are lucky to be taken to a functioning medical facility and not be bombed when in it. The weapons are printed called dimes, dense, inert metal explosives. Anyway, how do you not go crazy from seeing this stuff every day? How do I not go crazy from seeing this stuff every day? The UN says Israel's war on Gaza has left over 2,500 Palestinians with life-changing injuries. I don't go crazy looking at this stuff every day because in my heart I know that while there is a fresh hell every new day that Israel unleashes upon the population of Palestinians that it is a belligerent occupier of, I know that every day we get closer to some semblance of justice, especially in comparison to where we were before. And speaking of which, I mean, there are more and more people that come out and openly say what Israel is doing is a genocide, is ethnic cleansing. One of those people is a former Israeli defense minister. Here it is. Does anyone have the video? Former Israeli defense minister says his country is ethnic cleansing in Gaza.
Former Israeli defense minister says that Israel is carrying ethnic cleansing in northern Gaza. Moshe Ayalon, a very, stalwart Likudnik, and so on. So why is
Yeah.
that offensive?
Moshe Ayalon, or Moshe Yaalon, is he's the former chief of staff of the IDF. He served as Israel's defense minister, and not under Benjamin Netanyahu. Like, he was Benjamin Netanyahu's defense minister. Chat. Here's the video. Like, this is not. This is a guy who is directly. This is a guy. Do we have a subtitles? Here he says, Israel is carrying out ethnic cleansing in North Gaza. There is no Beit Laiha, no Beit Hanun. They are currently operating in Jabalia and clearing the area of Arabs. Going the way that we are currently being dragged into, to occupy, to annex, to ethnically cleanse. Look at the north of the Gaza Strip. Call it what you want, a displacement of residents, to establish Jewish settlements. Ethnic cleansing in the Gaza Strip, asks the person that he's talking to. Is that where you think we're heading? Why heading there, he says. He replies with, why heading there? What's going on there now? What's going on there now? There is no Beit Laiha. There is no Beit Hanun. And now we're working on Jabalia. What's happening practically is a cleansing of the land of Arabs. He's saying we're not heading there. We are there. Is he saying this is a positive? No, dude. No. There is an appetite for death and destruction that I think even former defense ministers are like, is too much. And it's especially what you guys don't understand is like, this guy isn't a fucking woke warrior, okay? He was Benjamin Netanyahu's defense minister, chat. Like, this is the fucking, Nikki Haley of Israel. Worse than Nikki Haley. There are people who are like, dude, what the fuck? Okay, we've, maybe we've gone a little too far. He wasn't just any defense minister. He was Benjamin Netanyahu's defense minister. He's a Likudnik. He is a part of his party. Here, or we will follow the path of this government. To be a messianic dictatorship, racist, fascist, homophobic, misogynistic, backwards, corrupt, and most importantly, a pariah. Okay? This is one choice. This is not a 27K chat, Muddy. Yeah, it's because I'm botting it, dude. Chatters, type 1 if you're just listening. Type 1 now if you're just listening and you haven't chatted yet. It bricked the system. Is that good? Sometimes adults just take it all in. Not everything deserves a reaction, chatter. Not everything deserves a reaction. Sometimes it's okay to just fucking sit there and not chirp back and just listen. Maybe you'll learn a few things. Chuck Dies, thank you for the 25. Get the subs. Anyway, where was I? As I was saying, this is not like a woke person, but this is a person who recognizes that Israel being left to Israel being governed by a coalition of rabid, misogynistic, homophobic fascists like the Itamar Ben-Gvirs and the Bezalel Smotriches of the world, which is precisely the path it's heading down, is going to cause it to become a pariah. And part of that is also because Israel's current actions with that governing coalition, at the behest of that governing coalition, partnered with like Benjamin Netanyahu's personal interest in continuing to modern monkey theory, thank you for the 5, get the subs, that Israel's ethnic cleansing is causing the world to reinterpret and reanalyze its relationship with Israel and even Israelis. Okay? That's what the fuck is going on here. Little Beirut, thank you for the 5, get the subs. It's one junction. The second option has to do with the relations with the Palestinians, who is in favor of separation, and it has nothing to do with right or left. In favor of separation and not in favor of a binational and an apartheid state, or to follow the path that we are currently dragged. To occupy, to annex, to cleanse, ethnic cleansing. Look at the northern Gaza Strip and settle a Jewish settlement. That's the point. No beat Hanun. They are currently operating in Jabalia. In fact, they are clearing the area from Arabs. What is the concept? I want people to understand. What is the concept of Smotrich and Ben Gvir that the state of Israel is currently implementing? Not that Netanyahu believed in. We will leave it at the moment. I was with him until 2016. This is a different Netanyahu. For his own personal survival, he gives them the stage. Who are Smotrich and Ben Gvir? Their rabbi is Rabbi Dov Lior. Rabbi Dov Lior was the rabbi of the Jewish underground that intended, in addition to blowing up buses and mayors and so on, to blow up the Dome of the Rock, to provoke a war of Gog and Magog. If we blow up the Dome of the Rock, the Muslims will attack us. So this is our opportunity to conquer the entire Promised Land, from the Euphrates to the Nile, to cleanse it from non-Jews. To cleanse it from non-Jews is the concept. Well, the story of the Dome of the Rock failed because of Shin Bet. So someone tried to stir it up in the cave of the patriarchs. Baruch Goldstein, may his name perish, another student of Rabbi Dov Lior. He's singling out Kahanis and saying that the messianic cultish Jews that are that comprise a big chunk of the settler movement in this country are moving the entire nation in the direction of ethnic cleansing of all non-Jews from the region, from the Nile to the Euphrates, in this foolhardy and very bloody affair to trigger what Christians consider to be the rapture, whose picture was displayed in Ben Gvir's living room. He's talking about Baruch Goldstein, the massacre of the Cave of Patriarchs. Ben Gvir proposes marriage to his wife at the grave of Baruch Goldstein and circumcision. Do you understand who this is about? So these are the people who right now, like a tail wagging the dog of the state of Israel, are ruling the state of Israel in the finance ministry, the ministry in charge of the police. And Smotrich also deals with the issues of citizens in Judea and Samaria. Are we surprised that we are? Judea and Samaria is the occupied West Bank, by the way. Are we surprised that we are in The Hague? Excuse me? Here I can justify Smotrich's statement to wipe out Hawara. And then there is a Jewish pogrom. 40 houses are burned. 8 houses are burned in Madama or Akraba. It is the us, the ones who said never again. I say it as the son of a Holocaust survivor. Or when he says, I don't have a moral problem starving Palestinians to death. 2 million Palestinians in Gaza. Is that my people? Can I support such a government? Then they will be in The Hague, rightly so. Why The Hague? We need to judge them and kick them out of the public sector. Former defense minister of Israel, okay? Former Israeli defense minister under Benjamin Netanyahu. Former Israeli defense minister under Benjamin motherfucking Netanyahu. How old is the video? This is a day old. He is from Benjamin Netanyahu's party. Is this all indicative of a sentiment in Israel? There is no widespread momentum for this kind of sentiment in Israel. Okay? There is not. There are a shit ton of people who have directly held the gun over the Palestinians' heads that have come out with statements like this. Former heads of Shin Bet, other prominent figures in Israeli government. Okay? Many of them, even if they have this opinion, cannot change the broader perspective of Israeli society. In some ways, is similar to like never Trump Republicans. You know what I mean? Former Bush era people being like, yo, chill. This Trump guy is like fucking up. John Bolton, you know, crying about some person in office now. It's a little bit different though, because it's not like Dick Cheney is saying like the Iraq war was a fucking violent endeavor and we have to stop it. So I guess it's a little bit different. I think many former Israeli officials look at the situation in an honest and pragmatic lens and recognize that Israel's actions are deeply frustrating to the rest of the world, and they see it for what it is. Yeah. Here's what normal Israeli society is doing. Israelis bring school field trips to Sderot to watch the genocide live. In front of the binoculars, there's a trash can, so the small children can stand on it and take a closer look.
Behind me in the distance is Gaza. This is an Israeli lookout platform.
This kid's awesome, by the way. He's so fucking brave. Holy shit. This dude is amazing. He'll just like go and duke it out with the fucking Rastafarian settlers when they're trying to fucking pull water pipes from the ground so that Palestinian villages can't get fucking running water. And he'll just go there and he'll sit on top of the pipes and be like, no. That's a motherfucker who's literally putting his life on the line, okay? He probably got spitted on numerous times. You know what I mean? He probably got spitted on so much. That's like the number one weapon of a settler is to spit on you.
The distance is Gaza. This is an Israeli lookout platform that was set up so that Israelis can come here and watch the genocide that their state is unfolding. They bring school field trips here. There are binoculars that you can use for 5 shekels. This is a popular tourist destination. People come here.
I like that they've streamlined Sderot cinema. Okay, where this was a very famous, very violent thing that Israeli society had done back in the day, where they called it Sderot Night Cinema, where they would just like sit on top of hilltops, put couches up there, and watch Gaza get fucking bombed into oblivion. Now they got binoculars. That's sick.
From all over the country. From here, every falling rocket is just a quiet thud and a plume of smoke. And from there, it's a bunch of dead children.
Is Andre X? Yeah, I think he came from Russia when that war started, so he's been super active as soon as he was smacked in the face of the reality of Israeli society. He's done a few good interviews. Yeah, this has been going on for some time. Yeah, you can cry all day, every day, and say it's anti-Semitic to call out these things, but it ain't gonna fucking change right from wrong, brother. All you're doing is masking your own personal conscience, where you know deep down inside that this shit is fucked up and unsustainable. And instead of, recognizing the realities that are unfolding and letting go of your previous associations, letting go of your prior allegiances due to maybe decades of social conditioning, which is tough. It is tough. I know that. Instead of doing that, you just like lean in to this cognitive dissonance and find yourselves in the throes of the comfort of reactionary sentiment. No, it's my enemies that are fucking deeply evil and wrong. No. All these people that look at the fucking death and destruction and say that it is untenable, it is unconscionable, it cannot go on. All those people, they must have some cynical reason for doing this. Why are they singling out Israel? But it's not like I fucking single out Israel. I fucking call out my own state. I call out America. I call out my other state, Turkey. Still real quiet about Qatar though. I mean, I've shit on Qatar and its slavery practices before, especially during the World Cup. So, have you talked about the Turkish-backed Al-Qaeda invasion of Syria? Yes, I have.
Up to you. Why can't you say what Israel is doing is basically ethnic cleansing?
So we have engaged with the government of Israel about its actions in northern Gaza. I think those statements refer broadly to the so-called general's plan. I can tell you 2 things. Number 1, they have said to us that's not their policy. And number 2, we have made clear to them that that we would fundamentally reject any such policy. I can't speak to the assessments made by a former Israeli military official. I can tell you that when it comes to potential violations of international humanitarian law, something else he raised in his statement, we have our ongoing assessments, and they have not concluded.
But, most observers see what's going on, and they term it as such. They I know you.
Oh, damn, bro. They said so. Never mind. My bad. Shit. Yo, if they said so, if the genocide there says so, then my bad, I guess.
you disapprove the word genocide and so on, but a lot of people think what's going on is genocide, especially that the threshold has crossed 45,000 people. So I'm saying that at one point, the U.S. has to recognize what's going on for what it is, right? For what it is. Say, that, when you move about 2 million people, that is some sort of ethnic cleansing. Do you disagree?
So we have been very clear what we want to see happen in Gaza, and that's everyone who has been forced from their homes, we want to see have the opportunity to go back to their neighborhoods and have the ability to rebuild and have support from the international community to rebuild. And we continue to engage, not just with the government of Israel, but with other countries in the region to work to get both a ceasefire and the release of hostages and a plan for the day after that would ultimately allow those Palestinians who have been displaced to do that.
But there seems to be no plan for the day after as far as Israel is concerned. We have not seen it. We have not seen it in statements or in deeds and so on. In fact, yesterday, or the day before, I don't remember, they killed three other workers from the World Central Kitchen, so that Israel shows its intent to deprive Gaza of any kind of aid that goes, under the pretext that they are attacking a militant. I mean, they've killed the people that committed October 7th. There were maybe 1,400. They have killed already 45,000 people, and they keep doing this under the guise or the pretext or the claim that there was a militant among those people.
So, with respect to that strike, I can't speak to it. I know that they have made the public claim that one of the people killed in that strike was affiliated with the attacks on October 7th, or had been involved in the attacks of October 7th. If that's true, it would, of course, be extremely troubling. But that said, there were other civilians who died in that strikes, which is why we continue to push for a ceasefire. I can tell you that the Secretary is meeting with Israel's Minister for Strategic Affairs, Ron Dermer, later today here at the State Department, where he is going to continue to express the position of the United States that we need to get a ceasefire, we need to see the hostages released, we need to implement plans for the day after that would allow or would establish governance, security, and reconstruction inside Gaza, and that ought to be an urgent priority, not just for the United States, not just for other countries in the region, but for Israel as well.
Would you demand to look at the evidence that Israel claims to have used in killing the kitchen, central kitchen, the World Central Kitchen? It's a Washington-based organization.
Look, we think that barring any unique intelligence sensitivities, that's evidence that they ought to make public for the world to see.
Yeah. Also, while we're having this conversation, the same settler operations. This is what I was going to talk about. So, Drop Site News came out with this report. Scoop from Yunus Tarawi. I'm glad that his account has been restored by Twitter after he got fucking weirdly banned. An extremist settler org specialized in building illegal West Bank outposts is now operating in North Gaza, paying civilians $165 daily to join. Libby Group claims to be demolishing homes in Beit Laiha through their website, though their website don't show that they provide such services. Looking for bulldozer operators for demolition work in Gaza. The job is also relevant for those who have not served in the army. Good pay. That was the ad. God damn, dude. Holy shit.